Welcome to the Boss Fire Protection Fire Suppression Orientation. In this series of programs, we will look at your critical fire suppression components and their maintenance to ensure your system is operating at peak efficiency, protecting your workplace. Understanding your regulated release system. In this video, we will cover the components that are used to activate your regulated release system in the event of a fire. Your system is plumbed with multiple runs of conduit piping and corner pulleys that contain the detection lines that run to your pull station, gas valve, and through each associated hood system. All conduit starts at the regulated release and is piped through the subsealing to each component that we will discuss in this video. The remote pull station is one component of your fire suppression system that is used for manual actuation of the system in the event of a fire. The pull station must be mounted on the path of egress towards an exit. It must be mounted between 42 inches and 48 inches from the floor and will list the manufacturer name and have the words pull station clearly labeled on the device. If, in the event of a fire, the fusible links do not set the system off, the remote pull station can be used to activate the system. If used, keep in mind that enough force must be used to snap the brake rod and activate the system. It should not take more than 40 pounds of force. Also, in the process of breaking the activation rod, you may need to pull up to 12 inches of slack to actuate the system. These systems are designed to have a little extra line in them to help prevent accidental actuation. All pull stations should be identified with the hoods they protect, and most will be labeled with an inspection tag containing the specific information of the system and the last inspection performed. The detection line is the automatic means of detection in your fire suppression system. The detection line wire is piped from the regulated release through conduit, corner pulleys, and into the subsealing where it connects above each associated hood in the system. From this point, the conduit and detection line wire runs through the hood plenum. Above each appliance, there is a break in the conduit, where it is attached to a bracket, exposing the detection line wire that is connected to links and the terminating link at the end of the detection line. The temperature rating of each link is determined by the appliance it's installed over. In the event of a fire, the fusible link melts, releasing the scissor clips and setting off the hammer on the regulated release. Each link must be changed out during your semi-annual inspection. If your cooking application includes gas-operated appliances, your system will have the third component called a gas valve. Upon manual or automatic actuation of the system, all gas must shut down under the hood to eliminate the supply of fuel to the fire. This is accomplished through the wire piped through the conduit that is connected to your system's gas valve. Typically, these can be found installed in the gas line near one of your hood systems. Some gas valves will be labeled with open or closed, showing whether the system has been triggered to shut off the gas. Your housing and regulated release assembly. In this video, we will cover an example of one fire suppression system and the components that make up your housing and regulated release assembly. In each fire suppression system, the control head, bottles, and cartridges are typically stored in a stainless steel housing cabinet. This is where you will find the regulated release assembly. The regulated release assembly is the main component of your fire suppression system. This combination of components is what triggers the fire suppression system to release wet chemical agent in the event of a fire. The regulated release is made up of the following components. The detection line. The detection line starts directly behind the micro switch and runs to the associated hoods connecting to each fusible link in the system. The detection line is set with a tension bar and spring for means of automatic activation for the wet chemical system. There should be a minimum 1/4 inch to maximum 3/8 inch clearance from the hammer to the hammer base. In the event of a fire, your fusible link will melt, triggering the hammer to drop, releasing the chemical agent to extinguish the fire. This is the pull station wire that runs from the pull station to your regulated release. In the event of a fire, if the use of the detection line doesn't trigger release of the chemical agent, the remote pull station would need to be pulled to activate the system. Please note that when pulling the remote pull station handle, The wire can have up to 12 inches of slack. Make sure to pull until the system triggers. This is the gas valve shutoff wire that comes down on the right side of the microswitch into the air plunger. This line is installed with hand-tight tension and set off by the compressed air released by the cartridge. This shuts off all gas under the vent hood when the regulated release is triggered, eliminating a potential source of fuel if there is a fire. The next component is the microswitch. The microswitch ties into the electrical breaker to shut off all electrical supply under the associated vent hoods and fresh air makeup. This small device plays an important role in the system by eliminating any additional fuel to the fire. Once triggered, this device also sets off your fire alarm system, notifying the fire department to respond. Cartridges tie into the regulated release, which is made to puncture the seal of the cartridge upon actuation and fill bottles with compressed air. This sends chemical through the system piping. Cartridges must be changed out or hydro-tested every 12 years by DOT specifications. This should be inspected and maintained by your fire suppression inspection company. The actuator regulates the compressed air that runs through the control head in the event of a fire. Hoses distribute the compressed air from the actuator to the bottles. The compressed air then pressurizes the bottles containing the wet chemical agent. This helps regulate the flow of the wet agent through the system for proper discharge. The hoses should be tested every 12 years or replaced. Fire suppression bottles contain the chemical agent that flows through the wet chemical piping in the event of a fire. It is pushed through the piping by the compressed air that is released by the cartridges through the actuator and hoses. Bottles must be hydrostatic tested every 12 years. Understanding your wet chemical piping section. Your fire suppression system uses piping and nozzles to help ensure that the proper amount of wet chemical agent gets to each appliance under your hood system in the event of a fire. This ensures that high-risk appliances get more chemical than a lower-risk appliance. All piping from your fire suppression system starts at the housing cabinet and transitions to the hoods in which they are designed to provide coverage. Piping is typically run from the housing cabinet and bottles through the subsealing of your facility to the top of each vent hood that the system is protecting. When the piping system penetrates the vent hood or duct system, there must be a liquid tight seal or weld in place so no grease vapors can get through to the subsealing. Without these seals or welds, the grease vapors that reach the subsealing will create a fire hazard. Duct nozzles are designed to provide coverage for the hood collar that connects to the exhaust duct of your system. One of the key things to monitor is making sure that these nozzles do not accumulate excess grease between your scheduled exhaust cleaning service. If they start to accumulate excess grease, you need to call your cleaning provider to come out and service your system. Each of these nozzles is equipped with a nozzle cap that helps prevent the nozzle opening from getting clogged. It is very important that these remain on to ensure proper operation. Too much accumulation around these caps could prevent the cap from blowing off to allow the flow of chemical in the event of a fire. Plenum nozzles are designed like the duct nozzle, only their purpose is to provide coverage to the hood plenum. They are designed to cover up to 10 feet across the exhaust hood. Just like the duct nozzle, these caps should be monitored for excessive grease accumulation to ensure proper function in the event of a fire. Each fire suppression system is designed to provide coverage to required appliances under your hood system. The installation of pipe drops helps distribute the chemical agent to each appliance. These pipe drops can be installed in many ways. How the drops are installed depends on the appliance size and type. Installed at the end of each nozzle drop are the nozzles. Nozzles are determined by manufacturer specifications based upon what type of appliance is being protected, its size, and the height of the pipe drop it's installed on. Each nozzle is equipped with a nozzle cap. The cap plays an important role in protecting against accumulation of grease on the nozzle's opening. If grease becomes caked on to the nozzle opening, it can prevent the nozzle from spraying the wet agent in the event of a fire. If nozzle caps are missing, it is important that your fire suppression service provider is contacted immediately. All piping must be air tested at least annually for obstructions and clogged nozzles per code. First, we'll start with the K-Class fire extinguisher. The K-Class extinguisher is the second line of defense on fires using cooking media, such as fats, grease, or oils in commercial cooking kitchens. There should be a K-Class extinguisher mounted within 30 feet of your kitchen's cook line. K-Class extinguishers are specifically designed to fight grease fires, unlike ABC fire extinguishers that, if used on a grease fire, can accelerate or even spread the fire. It's important that all employees working in your commercial kitchen are trained to understand the difference between these extinguishers and the proper use of each. Proper inspection and maintenance of K-Class fire extinguishers involves inspecting to ensure the pull pin is not missing, making sure the tamper seal has the correct date and is inspected and changed annually. The charge gauge should be in the green to indicate a proper charge. If it's outside this range, it needs service. Visually, look at the discharge hose to make sure there are no obstructions. This extinguisher is required to be hydro tested every 5 years. Finally, the service inspection tag should be changed annually after inspection is performed. Understanding the ABC fire extinguisher. ABC fire extinguishers must always be on the path of egress or on the way to an exit. They are equipped with several components that help you monitor whether the extinguisher should be pulled out of service. The first is a gauge showing a red and green area on the gauge. Your extinguisher must be in the green to remain operable. The second component is the pull pin. The pull pin protects against accidental discharge of the extinguisher. The third is the tamper seal. The tamper seal ensures that the extinguisher hasn't been used. Once the extinguisher is discharged, the tamper seal will break, and the extinguisher must be taken out of service and replaced. Additionally, the tamper seal should be replaced after each annual inspection. The last component is the inspection tag, showing the last date of inspection performed by your fire suppression inspector. Each ABC fire extinguisher must be tested annually, followed by a 6-year internal maintenance testing and a 12-year hydro testing. You must carry the proper license to service or inspect the fire suppression system. Any alterations can cause accidental system actuation or improper function in the event of a fire. This video is for educational purposes only and presented to help our customers understand their system and how it is designed to operate. For more information, always call your licensed service provider. If you have any questions or would like to get your system inspected, please reach out to Boss Fire Protection at 972-704-1821 or email us at boss@bossfireprotection.com.